too, so hang on a second. All right, so now that we basically named this ad that we're creating, the source where we're going to put it, we want them to come back with some sort of hashtag so we know exactly what we did. Now we're going to build the ad or build the area from our website. So I put Johnson County. I'm not going to do a price because I'm just doing foreclosures, right? So I need to go down to options on mine and I'm going to put foreclosures, right? So this is a pretty simple one. Johnston County foreclosures. And I'm going to hit build link. Now that I built that link, if I go back up to my top here, I got to move you guys for a second. All right. So if I go to the top here, these are other ones I did, but if I go down somewhere, here it is right here. So right here, you see my Johnson County foreclosure when I built it, which is today. It's for buyers. Here's how the hashtag's gonna come in. And then here's my link. This is what I'm gonna put on Facebook. So I basically can copy this, right? Now I'm gonna go to my Facebook page. All right, let me move you all again here. All right. So, and again, I'm on a business page, right? So make sure you go to your business page and then I'm gonna write a post. And I'm gonna put something like Johnson County foreclosure list, be the first to see the new REO listings and price reductions on bank-owned homes in, right? Something like that. And then I'm going to basically say this list is updated every 15 minutes when there is a new listing or price change. Right? Is everybody still with me? All right, cool. So now I'm going to simply paste that link. Do not worry about the picture that comes up under here. Sometimes it will grab onto your photo for your business page. So like your picture up in the corner, don't worry about that. So whatever picture's there, don't get overwhelmed by that. Just go ahead and leave it. Now, I like to clean it up and get rid of this big link because now it's already saved below, right? So I backspace, and as you can see, it's still there. Here's my link. Now you might, for people that aren't, most people know this, but just in case people aren't savvy enough to know to click that, you can say click below, you know, you can just say click below. Something like that, right? You with me? So now we're going to go down and we're going to post it. And I'm going to refresh. And we're going to wait for my slow internet. We're going to go past my picture. So here it is. So as you can tell, even the picture that came up eventually wasn't even the same picture, right? When it first downloaded. So that's why I said don't worry about that picture. But now you have this. So you have Johnson County foreclosure list, be the first to see the new REO listings and price reductions on bank-owned homes, blah, blah, blah. And if they click it, right? Now, there's not a lot of foreclosures in Johnson County right now. That's probably going to change soon, but there you go. So there's the two REOs that are for sale. Now, they don't have the pendings or anything like that. And if they go in and view the details, it's going to ask them to sign up. and there's where you get your lead. Okay. Now, before I open up for questions, because we'll do another one or two of these under this, because there's a couple other things I want to show you how to build stuff. But one other thing that you can do when you're building these is, some of you have asked in the past, well, you know, I want to promote my listing, or I want to promote stuff and I don't want them to have to sign up on that first view before they can get information. The best way to get a lead is to force registration. I know that's the toughest sometimes, but what I can tell you is, if you decide that you want them to look at a few properties before signing up, you actually can do this right here. So when you're building that ad, you can say, I want them to be able to look at 2 or 3 or 5, or guess what? I'm building the link for my friends to be able to search my new listing, and I want to send it out to them, and I don't want them to have to sign up, whatever. So you can put never. Now, that's certainly not a great idea if you're trying to get leads, right? A lot of research done, folks. The best way to get a lead, and you'll get complaints, you'll get people that comment under your Facebook post, you know, oh, why do people make me sign up for this? You know, blah, 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 blah. You'll see some of that and you can delete it. But really, it's making them sign up immediately is going to be your best result. But I would do 3 or less if you're trying to do leads. The only time I would do more, again, some of you have said, well, I want people to look at my listing and I don't want to force them to register, stuff like that. And if we're doing a single listing, we're going to talk about that soon. But there's a whole nother thing down below here that allows you to do a single property link. So we're going to talk about that in a second. But before I go any further, because I know I went kind of fast, we're going to do a couple other of these, but let me open it up to questions here for a second. So give me a sec to do this. All right, so does anybody have a question? Comment?
Yes, the page, the web page we're opening is our business page, right? Like movedbymel.com. Mine is movedbymel.com.
No, because in general, like that's how I'd say you can certainly create ads that way, by just going to your website and pulling up like the Johnson County foreclosure list or houses in Raleigh or whatever you want to do. In this case, and we'll do another one, you're actually going to your conversion dashboard, and then you are creating a link to, it's basically creating a link for you that's a Moved by Mel website page, but you're doing it all through conversion. So you do not have to go to Moved by Mel.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I mean, okay, can you do another example? I want to write step by step.
Yeah, we're gonna do a couple more. So yeah, no worries at all.
Okay.
Anybody else have a question? Comments, concerns? All right. So let's do another one. And let me check out chat too, because people are chatting, and let's see if anybody says, see if anybody needs me. No, we're good. Okay. So let me go back to this, and let me go back to share this again. Look at that guy. Nick, you got your hands full. All right. So here we go. Let's do another one. I'm going to do this from the very beginning, okay? So you go into your conversion dashboard. So I'm going to actually get out of this and go back to that. All right. So does everybody see my conversion dashboard? So this is where you're starting. You're starting in conversion. You with me?
Yes.
All right. So you're going to have that open, and you're going to have your Facebook business page. Those are the two things you need.
Okay.
Okay? So step 1, I go into conversion. Step 2, I go down to lead generation. Step 3, I click on squeeze pages. Right? Step 4, I scroll down to buyer, seller, squeeze page builder, right? Now, the most important step, what do I want to advertise? What do I want to get out to the world? What do I want to promote, right?
Do carry under 300.
Okay. So I'm going to call this my carry, and you can call this whatever you want. It's just so that you can find it later on if you want to reuse it. I'm going to call it carry under 300K. Again, I'm going to post this on Facebook. So I just put FB for Facebook. And then hashtag, again, when these people come in as leads, I want to know that it's carry under 300K, right? That's what I'm going to call it. And don't do spaces or anything for hashtag. Just put carry under 300K. You with me?
Yes.
Okay. So now area, carry, I'm going to type that in and wait. Always wait for it to pop up and find the clickable thing. Because if you just type in carry or type in some city, if you do it wrong and you think you've done it right, when people click on the website, they might not get anything. So definitely make sure it pops up and click on the one that pops up. So in this case, I put carry.
Can I do the other ones like carry, Holly Springs more? Click that section again.
Yeah, you can do anything you want. So I do add area, and I could add another area. But I would not recommend. I would keep it very specific for your ads.
Okay.
So you do one for carry, and then go back in and do another one later for Holly Springs. Do another one later for a new homes development if you have a subdivision you want to do.
I'm talking about the other drop downs. There was carry, Morrisville, whatever. Or should I just write carry?
It's whatever you type.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever you type will pop up. Okay. So now that I've done that, we said we want to do under 300K. So I'm going to do max price 300. Okay. I'm not going to worry about beds or baths or anything like that. Right. Now you might want to put a minimum, even though you're saying homes under 300K. If you don't want to deal with homes like under 75K, you can certainly put that minimum here. That's up to you. Or if you really do want to just do 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, you can do it that way, right? But I'm going to leave it very generic. I'm just going to do 300 and under, right? Full list of all homes in carry under 300,000. So then I'm going to scroll down, and again, I'm going to leave it on buyer because that's what I'm looking for, buyers. Now, when you load this, the other thing I didn't tell you, it's going to take one of the listing photos, but if you had a home and carry that like your own listing and you wanted that to pop up, then you can actually choose from, one of our listings, or you can, choose one of the lowest priced ones. So there's options on what photo you want to pop up. I typically just allow it to pick it because it's just not that big a deal. Then again, do I want them to not be able to look at any houses before they sign up? I'm going to let, this time we'll say 2. Like on the second home, they'll have to sign up, right?
Brian, quick question.
Sure.
You have type buyer. Does it mean that Kunversion will have the role assigned buyer?
Correct.
But
Right.
if they really looking to sell a home and want to look around, you just manually would change it later?
Yeah, I mean, it's like any buyer lead, you should ask if they have to sell a house, and you can basically just add their seller information. There's a tab at the bottom of their profile to put their property information in there. So I wouldn't really worry about the title of what they come in. But typically, the leads that come in off of Facebook, Google, all those, it's much easier to generate buyer leads than seller leads, even though a vast majority of those people have to sell. Because
My basic question was, it's just reflected in Kunversion, that's it.
correct, yeah, correct. But since we're on that topic, I mean, just so you know, obviously 98% of the people go online to look at homes, to look what's out there, to see what they can buy. But it's very I've run many seller ads. You have what's your home value, things like that. We can get some leads in that way. But typically, if you run like a Google, Facebook, where you're trying to get sellers some other way, you can get them. I mean, and I'll help you all set these up. But the number of leads you get for your money is completely different. It's a whole different ballgame because there's not nearly as many people putting in criteria for, hey, help me sell my home in Holly Springs, you know, as their search. They're saying homes for sale in Holly Springs. Then they're finding the one they want, and then you're calling them and say, oh, I also have to sell. And that's a home run, right? You get both sides.
I mean, it's just very different thing. I actually meant that the sellers want to know ballpark where they at if they sell the home, and they just look at the listings. That's all. So, like you said, I can ask them and then just change the status.
Oh yeah, I know what you meant. Like I'm going off on a tangent because that's what I do, but I know exactly what you meant. So thanks for the question. But yeah, they'll come in as a buyer if you put buyer here. So we're going to build the link.
Quick question, comment. This gives us the flexibility of advertising other agents listing. I mean, we have so much because with the other training we did in the office, we were just putting our company's listing. So
Well,
this.
Okay, and that's for a single property.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to talk about that next, because if you do a list of properties, you're in good shape. You're okay. You can do Holly Springs, Cary, homes for under 300, homes with pools, foreclosures, homes on acreage, horse properties, you know, ranches. Like you can do all these cool lists and get them out to people on Facebook, Google, things like that. If you're going to do a single property, unfortunately, the MLS rules say you have to have permission. It's got to be your listing. You have to have permission. So that's why when I show you to do single properties, that I'm showing you our firms, because we know we have permission. You don't have to ask another agent in our firm to promote the property. I'm giving you permission. It's grow local.
Yeah, this way we don't need to ask another agent's permission. I mean, with this thing, we can show the buyers another company's listings too, right? We have variety. Yeah.
Correct. And then, but there also is value, and that's what we're going to talk about single properties as well, because a lot of buyers like to see that single property and are so excited about that one particular property that they'll sign up. Or like Alicia, she had like a property at a great price point in Fuquay, and like the leads were just pouring in. So single properties definitely have a value, and we're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about how you can get approval to list everyone's houses. Don't be scared to reach out to other agents. It's pretty easy to, you know, get an agent that says, well, I don't want you doing that, to say, well, let's have a conversation about that. Is it in the best interest of your client to not allow a co-broke agent? You're allowing co-broke to pay us. Why wouldn't you allow me to market and find a buyer? That's not in your client's best interest, right?
Should we ask this in writing?
Typically, yeah, you'd want to like get an email back and forth. But here's the thing. We're going to talk about that next. But what I can tell you real quick is we have plenty of listings within our own firm, but also new homes. You call a new homes development and say, hey, I want to promote your homes that you have, like your that you have on the website. Can I go ahead and do that? They're going to say, yeah. So there's so many, and people love those. I mean, those are lead generation. It's a candy. I mean, you put those new homes out there like a model, people are going to click. People are going to sign up with you. And by the way, those are great leads because it's not somebody looking for a $100,000 home typically. It's somebody that's willing to pay $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 for a brand new home. Oh, and by the way, they have to sell their current home. So we'll get there. But real quick recap. We built this page under squeeze pages. Cary under 300 Facebook, Cary under 300K is how they're going to come in under a hashtag. We put Cary, we put 300K. This time I'm going to allow them to see a freebie before they sign up. And then I hit build link, and the link pops up right here, but you can't do anything with it. So reminder, you have to scroll up and go through all of the links that you built and find the one you just did. And again, here's the date, Cary under 300 that I built today. Here's my link. I'm going to copy this link, right? Go back to my business page. It's going to want to know what I want to talk about. And I'm going to say, Right? Something like that. Does that make sense? Everybody see that? And see, this time it pulled up my profile picture. That'll scare people away, right? So don't worry about that. So now,
Some friend requests on Facebook.
yeah, or I'll get unfriended maybe. But all right, so I'm gonna hit post and it should change that picture out. So we're gonna scroll down. Might have to refresh. Sometimes it takes a minute or two. And there it is. Okay. And as you can see this time,
Lovely.
this time it actually showed a bunch of different pictures of houses in Cary. And then the very last one will show like your picture if that's what it did. But the good news is it's not put in as the first picture. But any one of these they can click on, right? And then there's their list of homes for under $300,000 in Cary, right? And then again, this time they can click on one. That shouldn't have done that. The reason it did that is because I was already on the site and already looked at another home. So it's got a cookie. But if any other user clicked on this for the first time, they would have been able to look at this house and then it would have asked them to sign up on the second house. So just from a technology standpoint, it already knows I clicked on another house because I'm on the same computer. So that's why it did it. But normally it would work. It would say, okay, this house is free. You wouldn't, in the next house, when I hit next and look at the next house, boom, this would pop up. Does that make sense? So let's take this a step further. Is everybody with me so far?
Yes.
Okay. So I want to take it a step further though, okay? Because the reality of it is, if you post this on your business page, who's going to see this? Your friends, almost nobody, to be honest with you. And not to mean that you don't have any friends. That's rude. This is my page, so I'm saying that about myself. So unfortunately, you're just not going to get a lot of traction with it if you just leave it like this, okay? So there is a small fee that goes along with this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what I recommend is you hit this post, right? Now, Facebook, unfortunately, ruined this for us. And now we have to say that it's a special category. Because if you don't put special category, I'm telling you, it will get rejected. I've tried a million different ways. And right now, it's going to come back. It sees that it's homes. I mean, it's just looking at the keywords, stuff that you're putting, the link that it's going to. So you might as well save yourself time, put that it's a special category. So use that toggle. I just turned that on. And then you got to go down to here and you got to put housing. Okay. Mm-hmm. So then you scroll down and then you got to pick an audience. Now it's typically going to pick some really broad audience. So you want to go in and edit it. Now the problem with this, because it's housing, it's going to end up showing it to people as young as 18 years old. So that's the problem now that we didn't used to have with Facebook. They're completely terrified of getting fined. So now they literally have not allowed us to advertise properly. Because in my opinion, if you want to put this at like a 21 to 25 as a low up to 65 plus, I don't necessarily think that we are like doing anything that's against a protected class. I really don't. But that's just me. So, so what we do want to do is we want to go ahead and we want to pick our area. So, what there's a couple things we can do. We can pull up a map and we can just type in Cary, North Carolina, and it's going to do Cary plus 15 miles, right? And that's fine. You could leave it at that. Now, what I do recommend is if you're doing like an ad for people that you think would be, you know, a list for a subdivision, and you actually want the people in that subdivision to see that you did that particular ad, then I would still drop a pin. And it's only do 15 miles around it. You can't narrow it down any more than that. But I would drop a pin over top of the neighborhood and allow it to go 15 miles out from that, because I still feel that Facebook is starting there and working its way out. Does that make sense? So again, but to just make it real simple for now, okay? So just pick the city. So if you're doing Cary, but think to yourself, is it Cary? You know, do you want to do Cary plus 20? Do you want to do, you know, pick your area and just look at the map. What's it covering? And if you know enough people are moving from Raleigh to Cary, or if you want people that, you know, a big one would be if you're doing like something in Johnson County, you know, a lot of people are moving from up here down to there to get more house for their money, then I wouldn't just do Johnson County 15 miles. I might do a little bit further out to capture people that might think about moving to Cary, right? The other thing is maybe you want to get this ad out to people in New York that are thinking about moving down to Cary, North Carolina. Now, we'll talk about that a little bit later, but you could certainly pick, hey, I want this ad to go out to everybody in Buffalo plus 15 miles, right? Because a lot of people from New York are coming down here. And you could certainly do that all day long. Now, I would recommend if you're doing an ad in an area outside of Raleigh, that the ad you're running probably wouldn't be Cary or Holly Springs or Clayton. I would do a Raleigh. I would create a Raleigh ad with Raleigh homes. There's Raleigh home, because that's what they know. They've heard of Raleigh. And a lot of them might have heard of Cary, but my point is, you know your audience. And if you're going to do it outside of the area, and that's where you're going to boost it. So basically what we're creating here is Facebook is saying, I'm going to get your ad of all these homes for under $300,000 in Cary out to this area. So again, right now we're going to just do Cary plus, you know, I did 21 miles. That's fine. Now, just so you know, you can go down and it has these detailed targeting. Again, because you've done a housing ad, I would highly recommend not even trying to put any of these in here, because they almost never work. There's like stuff that you might put is like, you know, empty nester or likely to buy, stuff like that. And those things sometimes end up coming up for you. But honestly, they often, now that they've done this housing ad toggle, it just doesn't work. So just keep it simple. The key is it's a numbers game. We already talked to 1.66 billion people looking at this, right? We don't want to get out to those. We want to get out to people who know and understand the area that you're promoting. So we picked an area that we feel pretty good about. We're going to scroll down. And it says right here, hey, your audience is going to give you this meter. Hey, we like this, right? So we hit save. Hang on a second. Let me see what I did there. I think I hit that drop a pin button and all right. Okay, so I didn't get rid of the state of North Carolina one. So that's important. So I got to get rid of that. Although it doesn't want to let me get rid of that. Oh, come on, Facebook. Hang on. Stupid. All right, let's just start over then. Unbelievable. All right, so with me here, guys.
Can you go back to the North Carolina and drop a pin on Carrie?
Yeah, I probably can, but I'll give it a shot, but let's do here. But you shouldn't have to do that. I mean, 99% of the time, if you just exit out of that one, this button typically works. I have no idea why it's not letting me do it. That's Facebook for you. So see, the problem is it's still not getting rid of the North Carolina thing. I have no idea. It's a glitch. I'm telling you, it's a glitch because it never does this. I mean, it always allows me to get rid of this one and do it. Now, the other thing that it usually does, let me just see one other thing. Let's try this real quick.
It is weird that it has Charlotte marked as well.
It's just crazy. That's really weird that it's not letting me do this. Definitely a glitch with the system. We'll do another one, and it will probably work right. But unfortunately, this is not. That's just crazy.
But we got the idea.
Brian, can you hear me, Brian?
Yeah. Oh, here you go.
Did you try to, and I can't recall, did you try to increase the radius of, you did 21 there.
Yeah, you only have to do 15. So, I mean,
That's
yeah,
bizarre.
yeah, it's just, there's a complete glitch right now. Because even this where it says delete, it should be deleting it. It's not.
Not working.
No, it's just, so we'll do another one. So, and it's Facebook for you. There's always one or two things that end up glitching out on me on Facebook. So, but folks, just so you know, it does work because I've done a million of these. You would exit out of the North Carolina and just create your other one. But because it's letting me delete the other one, it just will not let me delete that one. The other thing that it's not doing, which is strange, because it usually says create new audience instead of edit. It typically says create new audience, where we can create a whole new one, and that's not even there. So it's just really, really, really strange. But at any rate, so once you create your audience, right, you go down.
Can I interrupt you for a moment? Can we upload, because I thought it's available feature to upload list. You buy
No.
list with the names, addresses, phone numbers, whatever, and you upload them and then the ad displayed for them. How's that done?
No, you can do that for, like if you're gonna upload a list like Vistaprint, and they're gonna mail out postcards for you and stuff like that. But I'm not aware that in Facebook you can put in a list. Especially, I don't think they're gonna allow you to do that for a housing ad. But I don't even know that that's a function of Facebook. I mean, I could be wrong, but I've never seen that. So, all right. So down here though is where you want to put how long you run the ad. And what I would tell you is to run at least 3 days, but I typically do it for like 5 to 7. And you have a total budget, right? So if I ran this for 5 days for $10, it's going to do $2 a day, right? And what I would recommend is do it for, you know, at least $3 a day. I end up like doing it for like $5 a day. But at any rate, the first time you do it, when you hit submit up here or hit boost, it's going to ask you for your credit card information if you've never done this before. Okay. So let's try a different one. I'm not going to even do this one because it's glitching on me. Hopefully the next one will work. So any questions on this so far?
No.
So
All
the,
right.
the hashtag that you created is not technically for the ad. It's just for an internal tracking methodology.
Absolutely. It's just for you to do like a virtual file for them. So that like, think about putting all those people that come back in into a file cabinet of, you know, I got these people through this particular ad. So it's not only ad tracking to know it's working, but then also if you make it, you know, again, like first time home buyers, you know, then it's also a group of people that later on, there is a feature I can show you in Kunversion where you can pull up those hashtags. So in fact, I'll do that right now. So later on, so on your dashboard, you have this hashtags button off the side. So you click on that and you have all these things, you know, and let's put hashtag buyer lead, right?
Okay.
And then it basically will pull those up. And let's say, you know, there's only 4 or 5 here, but let's just say all these were your hashtag investors. You know, you ran an investor ad. Now you have a house that's great for investors. You can click all these and email them as
And
a
then,
group. Does that make
okay.
sense? So,
Yep. Cool.
all right.
Thank
All
you.
right. So
Ryan, another question. Besides them registering and the info goes into Kunversion, is there any third-party add-on that can track people who simply clicked but never registered? Can we kind of grab that information?
yeah. So that actually, well, if you boost it, then the boost actually gives you those results. So if you go into Facebook, the day, 2, 3 after you run the ad, Facebook shows you how many people saw it, how many people clicked on it, and how many people engaged with it, right? So that actually is a way to track it. And honestly, there's been ads that I have where I'm not getting the results I want. So I might have put that I'm spending $5 a day for 3 days, but after day 1, you know, I've spent $4, but I've gotten nothing out of it. And I'm like, well, you know, do I want to spend another $4 if I'm not even getting, they're looking at it, but they're not clicking or signing up. You know what I mean? So
Yes, but what I really mean, I'm talking about that this way they are anonymous, and I'm talking about grasping some information, maybe through cookies or something, and at least being able to target them.
no, not this way. So there are technologies out there like AdWorks and other companies out there, and there's ways through Kunversion that we can set that up. But that's typically going to be done through like the search engines, like Google and Yahoo and other means. It's not necessarily a social media thing. It's harder to do through like Instagram and Facebook and stuff like that. You can get numbers of activity across onto you, but they're not going to share with you information about those clients. But if you do like a Google, Yahoo, things like that, then there's a way to set it up that once they click on you or view you, that you're paying, you're not going to get their information, but you're paying to keep yourself out in front of them. And some of you have probably seen that, where you've like looked at like a Yeti cooler or something like that. And all of a sudden now every time you go somewhere else on the internet, that Yeti cooler follows you everywhere you go. So you can do that with yourself and some of these ads, but those are typically done, like I said, off of a Google, Yahoo, Bing, those search engines, you know, or you can pay a company that actually integrates like AdWorks and stuff like that, which will also get you across some social media platforms. Cool. All right, good question. So, all right, so let's do another one though, but let's do a single property, right?
But Brian,
Yes.
you were getting ready to say if you didn't get any action, maybe the first day or two.
Oh yeah, you can go back in and pause the ad. So right below the ad where it says, you know, you can click on that ad where you boosted it. It says see results or, you know, something like that. You can click on that and then there's a little toggle switch and you can just pause it. And that way, if you don't want to continue the ad because you just don't think it's working the way you want, or, you know, let's say you wanted to go all in and you decide to do like $100 ad for 5 days and you just want to like get as many leads as you can. And you're finding out that maybe that one's not working. Or let's say you do 2 ads and do both for 20 bucks and one's working really well, the other one's not. So you pause the one and then put that money over towards the other, right? So Facebook is only going to charge you for what people saw and what got used, in the sense, like, so you say, I'm willing to pay 20, but if you only spent $3 worth and then pause it, they're not gonna be like, oh, well, you owe us $17. No, they're gonna be like, all right, well, you got your $3 worth, and if you ever turn it back on, great. If you don't, you don't. Now you can also, up here under quick actions, I'm sorry, I'm not on Facebook, on this little toggle switch here, there's this thing that says manage ads. So if for some reason you're having a hard time finding that post, you shouldn't, because you posted to one of your pages, but if you're ever having a hard time, you can manage all your ads right through there, through this tab right here, and you can turn it off. Okay?
Okay, so we can also tweak it at the same price as long as it's for that particular day.
You can tweak, you can turn it off. The easiest thing in most cases is if it's just not working, it's just to pause it and create a new one. You know, but if you wanted to, yeah, but if you wanted to edit it and say, maybe it's what I'm saying, maybe it's this, what I'm saying in my ad, that's what's not grabbing people, you can edit it. But if you edit it, then it's going to have to get reapproved to continue to run. So you're going to have a downtime, even if you say, okay, well, I want to keep running my ad. Anytime you edit it, it's going to be basically taken down while they review your ad, and then it will start running again. But my whole point is, if you do have an ad, for some reason you're not getting the conversion, you're not getting the leads that you want out of it, you can always pause it. And pausing basically is turning it off. It's turned off completely until you, and you don't ever have to turn it back on. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right. So, any other questions? All right. Moving and grooving. All right. So, in the past, I've shown you that if you wanted to put one of our agents' listings on Facebook, that you can go down to scroll down. Let me actually close that. And you can go down to listings, right? And you can go to our listings. Does everybody see this? So once you click on our listings, they all come up. And if you find the one that you want to promote, right? Let's pick. Let's find, we'll do Red Hill, okay? So I click on Red Hill. Now, I can go down here and I can say, what do I want to do? And one of the things that I want to do is post to Facebook. And it will pop open your Facebook page, and you can toggle to switch to your business page. That's a really easy way to do it. I'm not going to even go there, but I just wanted you to know that, hey, you can certainly just do that and get an ad going real quick. And then you can even boost it if it's on your business page. So again, we just went to listings, our listings, pick the listing. The other thing you do is copy and paste this, do it manually. So I can copy this link, right? I can copy that link, and then I can go again to my Facebook business page, say what I want to say, and I can drop it. Those are the ways that I've been teaching people that are really easy ways to promote one of our listings. And again, you don't need an agent's permission to promote one of our company listings. But again, you don't always know if you're running other ads, if that's what they clicked on. You don't know, you can't track it as well. So if you want to, one of the things you can do, instead of doing it that way, again, we're going to go down to, let me get you all out of my way here. We're going to go down to lead generation. We're going to go to squeeze pages again. Now, for our purposes, the first thing that you do want to do, so actually let me go back. So let me go back to our listings, and let me do Red Hill again real quick. So you do need from that listing, right? I'm going to remember it's 121 Red Hill, but you need this number, okay? So I'm going to copy the MLS number. Now I'm going to go to lead gen squeeze page. I go down to squeeze page, but instead of doing this buyer seller squeeze page, I'm going to pass that single property squeeze page. And I'm going to call it 121 Red Hill, right? Source, again, I'm putting this on Facebook. Hashtag. I could put the address that I know that was sort of going, but I might put that, hey, you know, I'm just trying to get leads in this subdivision. So I might just put, because that's, I know that they're looking at a house in Sunset Oaks. That's how they came in. So I'm going to assume that that's hopefully it's a neighborhood that they're interested in, right? Or I could put Holly Springs because that's where the house is. So whatever you want to come in so that you know, right? But in this case, just so I know for sure, I'm just going to put, you know, so there's no question for me that when I get this lead in, that not only did it come from Facebook, but it's going to come in as hashtag FB for Facebook 121 Red Hill. I know for a fact that I got this lead from that ad. It's working, right? So that's what I'm putting on this one. But now listing ID, I'm going to paste the MLS number, right? And then how many times can somebody look at that or another house on the website before they have to register? And again, immediate's the best, but again, for our purposes, I'll do 3 this time. Why not? I'm going to build the link. Again, it pops up here, but you can't do anything with it down here. So you got to scroll up and find it. And there it is right there at the top, right? So I copy it. I go into Facebook. Now, there could be a security issue with putting this, so I'm not suggesting, but if, you know, you could certainly put from a standpoint of what we're dealing with right now, and your seller doesn't mind, if you know, you could certainly put this house as vacant to put somebody's mind at ease if they want to go see it. But again, if you're going to do something like that, keep in mind there could be a security thing, like you're kind of letting the world know that this home is sitting empty. So just make sure it's something you do want to do, and make sure your seller's on board if you do something like that, right? But you know, otherwise, you know, you can say or visit in person, and don't put the vacant part, right? So then you always want to put on these. Now, the one thing I didn't do in my other ads that you want to do is put your contact information, right? So in this ad, always put, you know, call me, and then you'd put in, something like that, right? So on all your ads, make sure you put in your contact information and that you're an agent, right? So then we're going to put paste.
Ron, just a quick note, and we will learn, I'm sure we're going to learn this later. There is an option to put smart text where you say text to this number. And
Yeah, we do, and it's a conversion feature. And honestly, I don't like it, and I'll tell you why. Most people don't do it. I mean, most people do not go into their text and say, okay, text this to get a hold of me. It just, I rather than say call or text me and have them go directly to your phone number. And I get the reason behind it, because they want to keep the person engaged on conversion, and they're trying to capture that information for you on conversion. But when it comes to especially these single family properties, I mean, these single listings, you want them to get a hold of you as quickly as possible and get that communication as quickly as possible. And what's happening by them doing it that way, it's going through conversion, and certainly it will come up on your phone. But I'm telling you right now, most people would rather just text you their question right to you and you respond to them directly back and not go through that text this to that. So conversion, it's teaching that. It want you to do that. And when you take a conversion class, you're going to really stress that you do that. Even on Facebook, on Craigslist, it automatically on Craigslist puts that on there. So if you ever go in and do, and we're going to do that, I don't know if we'll have time today, but creating a Craigslist ad takes like 2 minutes. And I always tell people to go in and change that text and put in your cell phone. But it is a feature, but again, that's a personal. I think that you could end up actually losing out on business because conversion wants to keep that person in their technology, and I want to make it more human and quicker for them. So I think that the right answer is getting them a hold of you. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
All right. So here it is, right? Awesome home and highly sought after neighborhood, contact me virtual. Now I would probably say more about the home. I'm just doing this ad quickly, but you could say like, you know, some of the features it has, you know, granite counters, wood floors, whatever. So, you know, put some stuff in there to grab them, but I'm working on a time constraint here, right? So then I'm going to hit post. I'm going to refresh this.
Did you change it to one view so they have to register right away?
I actually did 3 on this one just for kicks, but it's still probably going to make me sign up after the first because I've been on the website too much. But so there it is, right? And again, if I click on it, boom, it's taking me right to that property. And again, because I've been all over this website, it thinks that I've looked at least 3 homes, so it's making me sign up. Anyone else that gets this can actually look at this home and 2 more before it's going to pop up this box here, right? So for kicks, let's see if Facebook has corrected itself with boosting the post. You never knew. So yeah, so this time it allows me, see, I can see all the audiences I've done in the past, my 102 audiences I've created. I can create a new one, right? Or I can go up and edit the current one. Let's see if the edit works. If it doesn't, we'll just create a new one. And all my son's pop-ups are coming up for his YouTube stuff. All right, so here is North Carolina. Yeah, it doesn't want to let me get rid of it. So if it does that, you can go out and what it should have, create a new audience. So you top, and then you can call it my 121 Red Hill audience, right? It's so you can call it that or Holly Springs, or if you did that carry under 300, I would call your audience whatever you're trying to capture. So make your audience match whatever your ad was. So again, the last one we would have said carry, 300 under 300K, but I'm just gonna call this the 121 Red Hill. I have several for First Friday. I have a bombshell audience. So, all right, so we're gonna do, it's still doing it though. It's still, so strange. Let's just, in fact, so we're gonna drop a pin and we're gonna zoom in. So right here is where the house is. So I'm going to drop the pin right there. And it's saying plus 10 miles. but it will not get rid of the North Carolina thing. This is the goofiest thing I've ever seen. So I'm gonna have to get a hold of Facebook and ask them why this is happening. But what you would do is pick your audience, right? And I would always do the, minimum that they allow. And this one's doing 10, but let's just do 15 just for kicks. Gosh darn, I do not know why it will not let me get rid of North Carolina now. It's so aggravating. Not gonna happen. All right, well, so in the normal world, you'd be able to get rid of this one because you don't want.
Hey, Brian, do you
Yeah.
want to, just for giggle's sake, do you want to try to see, like, if you do it in Virginia, what happens? Like, say we were doing this for reloads.
Yeah, so again, I'll create a new audience, but the problem is it's already defaulting with this North Carolina thing.
Yeah.
And where do you post them? What's the Facebook name?
Say that one more time.
Where do you post these?
So like the single property.
Yes, I see Brian Hargrove Broker.
Yeah, yeah, that I can't find this page either.
Are you talking about so you're posting these on your business page?
No, I understand. I just want to see how the single property, how it will request me to register. I see the mechanism. I want to see how it works. So once you're done, I want to go ahead and
You want to go to where I'm posting them right now is what you're saying. So do a search. I mean, it's Brian Hargrove dash Grow Local Realty and see if it comes up. It might not, because I hardly ever use this.
It's not coming up.
Oh, yeah, 'cause I don't use it very often. Which actually, that's a good point. Let's try something else real quick. Let's try something really quick. Let's go to, let's just do a, let's do it on the company page. I just want to see if the same stupid thing is happening with. Yeah, sorry for the glitch, folks, but again, you get the point. You want to put the area where you want to post it and then get rid of the state of North Carolina, obviously. And again, that X usually works. So let's just see something real quick right here. So let's boost it on this one. Edit audience. Now, this is nuts. That's insane. So somebody in the world of Facebook has literally turned on something that is, I'm sure it's not just me. They've literally, made it impossible for human beings to do this properly right now. So they got to fix it. All right. So, cancel. Let me get back to. All right. So once people go, so let me get back to that other page. So let's do this here. Any questions about how to do that though? Like you understand how to go into your, let's go back to conversion. So how to go in and build that through the lead generation through the squeeze page, right? So everyone understands that you either can do lists of properties up here, or you can do single properties down here. Just make sure you go in and get the MLS number and you pop that in right here. Right? So any questions about any of this so far?
Ryan, are these sessions going to be taped?
Yeah, I'm actually recording. I didn't start at the very beginning because I forgot, but this is being recorded.
Oh, okay, great. So how would we get it?
I'll send a link.
Okay, good.
I'll
Thanks.
send a link to you, and then and you guys can watch it. And
So
Go
if
for
you guys go to YouTube, they also or Google, they have videos that will step by step walk you through creating Facebook ads and linking it. So you can go through Conversion or you can go through Facebook.
yeah, and that inside real estate thing I put on our page yesterday has links to all that. Plus down here on the left, you have this learning portal and support portal, and you can get to all the training videos through here. And it has a lot of the stuff I'm showing you right now. Okay. So let me see what time it is. Okay, I'm not going to keep you up too much longer. I just want to kind of go over a couple other ideas, really. So when you're doing these, what I recommend is be creative, because when you go on Facebook, you all see other real estate agents ads, right? There's certainly a lot of people doing like what's your home worth, and they have that home value thing, and we can do that too. I'm not going to do one right now, but you can do that. But I do think that the ones that are really useful are ones that either are lists of homes in cities, but another real big one is all the homes for sale, all the new home construction in Holly Springs, or all new construction in a county. So pick a city, pick a county, and just pull up all the new construction. And to do that, you basically would, again, let's just say we want to do Holly Springs new construction, right? And again, we're putting this on Facebook. I am going to show you all how to do Google and Yahoo, but not today, okay? Because that takes more prep, getting it set up on those search engines. All right, so again, hashtag, I'm going to just call it Holly Springs NC for this case, it's new construction. So Holly Springs new construction, I know what that means. Actually, I don't need the hashtag though. We'll do it all night. All right. So I'm going to pick Holly Springs. And I need to get rid of this. Oh, hang on a second. It's like my own stupid thing is getting in the way. My autofill is, there we go. All right, so City Holly Springs, but now down here under options, I'm gonna pick newly built. The newly built is basically new construction, right? And again, how many do I want them to look at before they actually have to register with me? Again, your best bet for getting leads in is immediate, but you get to choose, right? I'm gonna pick like a high number to see if it actually works just for kicks. Because I don't think I've clicked on 50 homes today, right? But I have over time, so it still might not do it. But you do not want to do 50 homes when you're doing an ad to get leads though. It's 1, 3, or 5, and I would probably do 1. All right, so build link. I'm going to go up, and I'm going to find it. Here's my Holly Springs new construction. I'm going to copy it, Facebook, I'm going to say all the cool stuff I want to say. I'm not going to write it now, but I would say a lot of cool stuff about it. I'd paste it. I'd post it. I'd refresh it. And there it is, right? Pretty ad, right? Great looking houses. And then again, if we click, and again, because I put 50, right? So finally, it's not asking me to sign up. So I can sit here and look at probably a good 40 some homes before it's gonna make me. So that's not ideal for capturing leads. But my point is I just wanted you to see that it does work, that when you do put in more views before signing up, that you actually can view more, right? And eventually it's gonna ask me to sign up. Is that cool? But be creative with your ideas. Ranch homes, masters on Maine, horse property, acreage, homes that have been on the market for a really long time, right? You know, these could be really good deals. You could do subdivisions, you could do cities. I mean, there's just, the list goes on and on and on. But be creative with what you're putting out there, because there are a lot of other agents in this market that are doing stuff like this. But don't be scared. I mean, when you have that many people online all the time, especially they're all stuck at home online, put this stuff out there. I would just make sure that when you're typing the text into Facebook, that you're being, you know, you're saying stuff to grab them, you know, hey, here's a list of all the foreclosures, you know, update it every 15 minutes when there's a new foreclosure. Don't miss out, be the first to see it, that kind of thing. Or, you know, whatever it is. But then always put your name, the company name and your phone number in that ad, okay? That's all I really was gonna go over today. I mean, if anybody wants to stay on, I can do a quick Craigslist one as well. Craigslist is very much alive as well when people are looking at single family properties. I used to get, I'm not kidding, I could probably get 100 leads in a day putting out lists on Craigslist, just like we're doing. Like I could say, view all the properties for sale in Holly Springs, and they'd click on that list from Craigslist, and I would get so many leads, it would be ridiculous. And I woke up one day and they wouldn't allow clickable links anymore. And I literally crawled up in the fetal position and cried, because it was, it was so devastating that you can't click on a link on Craigslist anymore. So it literally changed how we have to advertise. So lists are a little bit harder. You can still do them, but you literally say, copy and paste this link to see the list of all the homes in Holly Springs. And they'd have to copy that URL and click it into put it in another page. So that does work if you want to do it. But instead, typically what we're doing is we're putting single properties in there. And even that's not bringing them to your website, it's bringing them to you. And again, that's why I don't like to text this to get to this. It's, here I am. I'm the person that you want to reach out to about this particular house, and I'm here to help immediately. And then you put your information in. So before I go into and do a quick Craigslist as like a bonus, I just want to make sure, I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a sec. Does anybody have any questions at all? Any comments? Hopefully this was helpful to everybody. We are at a time right now where it's just makes sense to be doing these. You can't really mess up. Just, you know, as long as you put your name and that you're a, like, you know, a broker, or that you put your firm and your phone number, have fun with this, right? You know, the more creative you get, I think the more results you'll see out of this. And you don't need to spend a ton. You know, spend $3 a day, $5 a day, something like that. Do it for 2-3 days. Typically though, $3 a day for 3 days is probably the minimum you're going to do, and see what you get out of it. Now, with that said, before I jump into anything else, first of all, after I say this piece, if you want to jump off, I know we've been on for a while, that's fine. If you want to just see the Craigslist thing, that's cool too. But the most important thing about this is as you get people in, the most important thing that you can do is make immediate contact. You will convert, I mean, it's not even 10 times more leads. I mean, I don't know the exact number, but it's like crazy, the conversion rate, how much it goes up if you do immediate contact when you get a lead in. Because they're not only looking at our website, they're looking at a bunch of websites. So if they can connect with you and hear your voice, and if there's a phone number, that's the way to do it. Call if they have a phone number. The reality of it is you're going to get a ton of people that don't want help right away. That's okay. You know, it's a numbers game. You're building a pipeline. Build the pipeline. They're already in there because they signed up. You got their information. If they're not looking right away, great. What's your time frame? And we have the best website that's going to help you while you're looking, while you're browsing. Oh, you're just browsing? Great. My website's perfect for that, right? The key is you made immediate contact and they're more likely to use you later on. They're getting alerts. They're getting things, and we're going to go into all that later. I'm not going to start talking about setting up alerts and things like that. But the reality of it is you are giving them extra touches that other people aren't. You gave them the media touch, and they keep getting touched virtually, right? So you're staying out in front of those people. So when they are done browsing, you're going to be their go-to person because they kept using your website. Or they lied to you. You know what? People lie all the time. They're going to be like, oh, I'm just browsing. Well, guess what? 2 days later, they saved 5 homes. And your system told you they just saved 5 homes. What are you going to do? Reach out to them again. Hey, just want to let you know that I'm here to help you. Just want to make sure nothing's changed. I used to say, hey, by the way, every time that you log on and look at homes, it's like you're walking into my virtual office. And I just want to make sure I'm giving you great customer service. And, you know, if you want to be left alone to browse, I completely get that. But by all means, I just want you to know I'm here for you. Right? I'm here to answer questions. I'm local with local knowledge. And I just wanted to let you know, if you want to go see any of the houses that you see online, doesn't matter who signs in front, I'm here to show you to you, right? So just make sure that you're having those conversations with people. So if you're making immediate contact with people, you're allowing the system to keep them engaged, then you're doing like 90% more than most agents out there are doing. Because most agents are waiting for somebody to pop into their lap, even if they have conversion. They're like, oh, well, I'll wait till this person calls me, right? So they're not making that first phone call. They're not setting up the alerts. They're not going into conversion to check to see their activity and reaching out to their most active clients, their most active leads. And if you're doing those 3 things, you're going to win. Because the reality of it is everyone else is being reactive, not proactive. And this might not be your game. This might not be the thing you do all the time. But I'm telling you, if it's something that you're willing to do, you will get business off of it. And if it's something that it's not your main thing, you're out there and, you know, hey, I'm a super social person and I'm getting my friends and family, I got plenty of business that way, I would still run one of these things once a week. You know, keep this part of it going as well, right? And the last thing I'll say is if you're newer, you know, we have agents all the time that say, hey, you know, I'm new to you, but I've been with, you know, HPW for 2 years and I've never sold a house. I've never shown a house. It all starts with conversations. And the more conversations you have, the more comfortable you get doing this job. And I promise you, if you have the conversations, you will have the closings. So don't be scared to pick up that phone and reach out to people. It's like, I'm telling you, it's step 1 to getting to where you want to be. All right. Any other questions, comments before I do a quick Craigslist?
Yeah, here.
Yes.
So when you said about, I'm just going to comment a couple things for you guys. So ideas for ads that you're going to be putting out there. So what about putting together a list of all the houses that have virtual tours, all the houses that have Matterport tours, where you can put this list together to provide to clients that, hey, I can help you virtually while we're sitting in our home. And I've come up with a list already of houses that we can view together online, or vacant houses that are open for showings. So get creative that way. Come up with other ads that are outside of just the houses on tips that they can be doing around the house, home improvement projects, increase of value, market updates, subscribing to your newsletter, subscribing to events that are going around. And when people respond to it, tying into what Brian said, 3 touches within the first 5 minutes. That's the rule of thumb, is three touches within the first 5 minutes. It's a text, a call, and an email. And if you haven't been provided all three of those things, then you double up on one of them within the 15 minutes. So it's just that immediate contact being in front of them. An idea also for your Facebook ads. So if you have leads that you haven't talked to in a long time, you have people in your database that you haven't talked to for a long time, and you're like, okay, how do I get in front of them? I'm tired of calling them. You know, I don't want to hound them with just basic emails and things like that. What about exporting that list and importing it into one of your Facebook ads so you are indirectly putting your content in front of them on a weekly basis? So you're indirectly showing up in their newsfeed and they have no idea why, but that's your way of staying in touch with them and in front of them and staying top of mind, where you're not feeling quite as uncomfortable about what I need to say to them. So that's just an idea for you guys. And it's a perfect way, because I've seen more people converting leads that they contacted from 3 to 5 years ago, that they met like years ago, and they're converting into buyers and sellers now. So that's just an idea for you guys if you do want to run the ads, is thinking outside the box with lists like that. Even contacts that you make right away, why not add them into some of the fun ads that you're putting out there, so you're staying in front of them so that you don't lose touch, outside of just, you know, saying after they save 5 homes, oh, I saw you on your website signing that. Well, if you saw that they did that, then add them into your ad with another updated list of something that they're looking at, so you're indirectly hitting them. So just get creative that way.
So that was my question about contacts and Facebook ads. That's what I was asking about, how to do.
Brian, do you want to comment on how, so there's a way that you can upload like a CSV file into your Facebook ads?
Yeah. So, I mean, if you already have a list of contacts, then by all means, you can either put them in individually, which would take a long time, but you can send CSV files to Kunversion, and they'll add all those people into your dashboard so that you can send them out. But you have to have those people. So if you have the list, great. But what you're not going to get is, like, if you run an ad and they look at stuff, you're not going to get those people's information to then make a list. So you have to have your list. You have to build your database.
Well, that's what I was talking about, buying those lists.
Yeah, I mean,
If you purchase the list, you can upload it. And that's something I would like to know personally. I'm not sure if anybody else is interested, but I would be interested to know how to do that. Because I can buy lists for specific community, and I would have that ad specifically for them.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
so
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, if you create your ad through Kunversion, linking it to Facebook, when you then link over to, when you go to your Facebook page where you're adding the link in there and you're doing your audience and all the other stuff, that's where you have the opportunity to import your CSV file, which is the list of the contacts that you may have bought, into that. So they're indirectly being marketed. Is that,
Thank you.
that's what I've done, Brian. Is that what you were gonna say?
Well, I'm just going to say that, like, you got to be real careful of buying lists and putting them into your Kunversion, because you're literally saying that every single person that you put in Kunversion has agreed to be put in Kunversion.
Well, not
So
Kunversion, into Facebook.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So if you do it through a third party, or do it through a way you're advertising to capture that audience, to what Jessica's saying, then I've never done it through Facebook, but I can tell you that buying a list and have them uploading it to your Kunversion dashboard, you really can't do, because everybody you put in there, even if you put in a single person, there's a little disclaimer that says, has this person agreed to allow to be put on the system? Because you're going to start doing contacts and reach out to these people, and they're saying that they have agreed to it. So
Right. Those sources like REI Source and different things, they're typically run through what I consider title companies, where you go and you can buy lists based off of targets that you're creating. So like when I was talking off of, creating your perfect client the other day, but you can go and get these lists where you can type in, I want a list of all the contacts in Johnson County that read Golf Digest. And then you pay for that list, and that list that you're paying for, you can put into your Facebook ad, but you cannot put into Kunversion. But if they respond to your Facebook ad, then that gives you the right to add them into your Kunversion.
correct. And that's the same thing with Google. Yeah, exactly. And you can do that with Google, Yahoo, all these different. So to get them out to the audience, and then hopefully they come back and you capture some of those people as a lead into your dashboard.
Right.
So
So-
are you talking about sending ads to individual people? I mean,
Well,
Well,
yes,
that-
but no.
Yeah, so, I'm sorry, go ahead.
That you're sending it to the group. So you're indirectly targeting the people on your list. So I have a list of 250 people. I'm going to import that list into my Facebook ad, which means that probably 90% of those people that are on there, my ad is going to show up in their Facebook feed. So I'm indirectly targeting them as individuals, but they don't know it. Without going and doing demographics and violating fair housing and all the stuff that Facebook ads took away from you. That's where you can create lists outside of Facebook that are narrowing down your target audience and then import that list in. That's the way around the system.
Yeah, and I've never done that myself. So, but I do know that you would have to do it through creating an ad, not just boosting an ad. You have to go to manage ads, and you'd have to do it through there, I suspect. So we'll look into that further. You know, I'm a big fan of just getting the ad out and getting people in. But now that Facebook has, you know, limited how we can do that with the fair housing stuff, I suspect that eventually even the way that Jessica's talking about is probably going to be they start to look at that probably a little harder too. So that might be limited as how long that will last too, unfortunately. But the key is there's so much business out there that, I mean, you can buy lists all day long, but I just think that you can create ads, get the ad out there. You're going to get people to jump back into you. You know, and then as long as you're making the calls, you're going to build your database. And it's not just this stuff we're talking about, because we're talking about creating ads on Facebook. We're going to talk about Google and Yahoo later on, but there's also Zillow. I mean, there's like, you go to Zillow and Make Me Move and, you know, the FSBOs. I mean, there's so many ways to go out there and generate people to put onto your dashboard, to create those conversations, make those calls. You're like, well, everybody in the world must be calling these Make Me Move people and there's FSBOs. Actually, they're not. They're going in there and they're trying to like hit that contact page and hopefully that they respond. But instead, if you scroll down, you see the owner's number, you call that number and you are actually, they're glad to hear from you. They want to sell their house. They're happy to hear from you. So now it's, what are you saying and how are you saying it? I'm not going to jump into that right now because we'll be here all day.
Or take that FSBO and go up and approach them and say, hey, I see that you're trying to sell your house. I'm not here to try to be your realtor and list your house where you have to pay me, but would you mind if I promoted your house to help bring you a buyer? If I were to bring you a buyer, would you pay me as a realtor? So then take that FSBO and turn that into an ad to help them bring a buyer where you can then generate leads, because your ad can be about off-market properties. That you have a list of these off-market properties, but you're then connecting with a FSBO, generating buyer leads. These are houses that the buyers probably aren't seeing as much, and it can grow your database that way too.
Yeah, and you know, we're going to, as we have more and more trainings, we're going to dive deeper into a lot of this stuff. And I know Nick's on the phone right now, and I'm not going to make him do it today because we don't have time. But look at that cute kid, by the way. So
hey, I'm available, man. What's up, guys?
Hello.
Hello.
Well, I just, you know, we've been on the call for a while, so I probably am not going to have you talk in depth on this, but I do want to schedule a time when you really talk about your phone calls, because I've heard you in the office before making your phone calls, and oh, listen to that. They're like, they really are top notch. I mean, there's no fear of calling. He's basically, he has an agenda of what he wants to get across. He's doesn't hang up the phone and get beat up, and like, he'll get mad sometimes. I'll hear him like, you know, say a few choice words to people, but then he picks up the phone and goes again. But it's not like, oh, this doesn't work, I'm not going to do this anymore. It's just like, all right, next call, next call, next call, next call. So again, Nick, like, I don't want you to go into it because we've been on the phone for a while or on the call, but next week or something like that, I'm going to have you jump on and just kind of talk about one, how you got to where you are with not worrying about calling. And I know how important you think it is, and also talk about what you're saying and how you're saying it. So if you don't mind, we'll do that maybe next week, if that's cool.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, for sure. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. So, does anybody want me to do the Craigslist now, or does anybody want to kind of like go? Because I'm happy to, like, I'll stay on this thing all day long. I don't mind it. So, anybody chime, if even one of you wants to see a a Craigslist ad, let me know and I'll do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So
All right,
Jill,
Brian, I gotta hop off, but if anybody needs me for anything, just call me, Facebook message me, hit me up on the group.
all right, thanks,
but I-
Jessica.
Okay, bye guys.
See ya. Bye. Hey,
Brian,
Jill,
one question, is it going to be exactly the same training on Craigslist as you did before?
yeah, there's nothing different. I'm just going to basically post one to show how quickly you can do it.
Bye, guys. Have a good
Bye. Hey, Jill,
Bye.
Well, if I'm the only one left, we could just wait.
no. I thought you might have something else too. I thought you said something else.
I do. I'll pass because it seems like I'm the only one left.
You're not the only one. I'm still here.
Yeah, there's other people here. So I'm just going
I'm
to do a
still
quick,
here. Hey, Joma.
Hey.
all right. So I'm going to, so when I'm doing Craigslist, right? I have my conversion open, and then I typically go ahead and open Craigslist. And one of the things I do is I go to my account because I can track this ad better if I'm signed in. It might take me a couple of tries to remember my password. Okay, no, I got it, right. So if you've never signed up, when you hit my account, it's gonna ask you to sign up real quick. Doesn't cost any money, so just sign up for Craigslist, right? Now, let me go here. So Craigslist, very simple. You go to listings, our listings, you pick the listing you want. Again, since Joe's on the call, I'll pick Red Hill. Scroll down. What would I like to do? Post to Craigslist. Now listen, when I hit this, I'm already set up. If you've never done this before, it's gonna take you to a screen that says you have to add an extension to your Chrome. So first of all, always make sure you're using Chrome with Kunversion, okay? That's step one. Make sure you're on Chrome when you open your Kunversion dashboard. Two, it's gonna instruct you how to do this extension, but very simply, and I'll get you, like, bring in your laptop once we're allowed to sit next to each other, so if you ever need me to do this, but these three little dots up here on the right-hand corner, you can basically scroll down to more tools and then extensions. And here are the extensions that are there. And you could certainly search KUN, the conversion, right? For some reason, this is not working for me either. They might have renamed it like Inside Real Estate or something like that. So don't worry about it because it's going to come up on your page. So again, when we're doing the actual, when we're doing the Craigslist post, I hit post to Craigslist. This screen right here, it says, well, it's actually, I guess I'd never done it on this computer. So install Google Chrome. So you already have Chrome. So, and then it says install the conversion extension. And then you just add to Chrome. Add extension. Okay, so now that I did that, if I go back again and say, what do I want to do? Post to Craigslist. Now it pops up and says, okay, great, let's post to Craigslist. How fast this happens.
Bless you.
So the only thing you're waiting for is for the picture to upload. Everything else, and there it is, you're done. See how quick that was? Isn't that crazy? Now, to to Diana's point, she says, it says text Brian to this number, which is a conversion number, right? I don't want that. I want them to contact me directly. And I know it's listed by Joe, but you know what? I'm doing the ad, so they don't need to talk to Joe right now. They need to talk to me. So what I would do, instead of hit post ad, hang on one sec, folks. All right, so I would do edit post. And the only thing I'm changing, everything else is fine. I'm just gonna go down here and I'm gonna say, everybody see that? So for info or showing call or text, 919-355, Brian Hargrove, broker, boom. That's what I want to say. So then, I gotta move you all. Hit continue. And then we go down to publish. Now for me, I've done this so many times that it knows me and it published it. For you, if you've never done this, it's gonna say, we've sent you an email. You have to go into your email and approve that you've published it. And after you've done this a few times, eventually it will publish automatically without you doing that. And if I click it, boom, there's my ad on Craigslist. See how quickly that was? That's all I wanted to show you. I mean, it's that simple. Any questions about that?
No, that's pretty fast.
So, so while you have this downtime, practice this stuff. Practice the Craigslist stuff. There's a Pinterest post. I'm not gonna do that right now, but you know, just post this stuff. Create these ads on Facebook. Boost a couple. Cool? Anything else? So even if it's off topic, since you know anybody that stayed on, does anybody else have any other question, comment, concern?
No.
No, not right now.
Craigslist is the best.
Yeah, it's still very much alive.
50 million users every single day. 50 million. Why would you not use it? And it's free.
Yeah, that's the good news about that. There's no boosting or anything on that. You just put it out there.
You just put it out there.
And the key with that one is to make sure that you're doing those often, because on Craigslist, they fall down the list, right? So you need to do a different one. But don't do a bunch in one day, because then you get flagged sometimes. So, you know, do 2, maybe 3 in a day. But even if you just do 1 a day, that's fine. But if you keep doing like the same ad over and over, or if you do a whole bunch in one day, they start to kind of flag your account. So just be careful. But I would just say, like, if by the end of the week you've done, you know, 1 or 2 every other day, I think you'll be safe. That sound right, Nick?
Yeah, you get ghosted.
Yeah,
So you put ads up, but then no one can see it, but you don't even know it. But yeah, they have robots. Craigslist has bots that takes your ads.
All right. So,
So let me ask you this now. Suppose you want us to post these like in New York or New Jersey area. Is there a section to do that, or what would you suggest?
yeah. So for Craigslist, it's not going to automatically post it for you, but you could basically post it here, and then you can copy all the text, and then you can log into the Craigslist in New York, for example, and then just create an ad there and post it, but you'd have to do it manually. It doesn't take that long. You just have to select that it's, you know, a real estate ad by broker, and then you'd have to put in, like, paste all that text that you put on your Raleigh ad, you put in that New York ad, and then you'd have to upload the picture. So it doesn't take that much longer, especially if you just create the one locally first, because then you can really use that to make the one in New York. but it's not going to auto post to the New York account.
Okay. All right. Thanks. All righty.
Well, cool. That's all I got. Thanks. I know it's kind of a little bit longer today, but we're gonna have so many other topics and cool things, so I'm excited about it. Hey, Michelle, while you're on the phone, did your lender ever take your application? Oh, yeah. Let me see if I unmute you. I'm unmuting. There you go. Hang on, I still can't hear you. I'm unmuting you, but it's not doing it. You're on like permanent mute.
She is on a call.
That's okay. Well, I'll talk to you later about it.
Hold
But-
on. Here, maybe, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So yeah, it's been submitted and I'm just waiting to hear. So
All right.
haven't
So
seen the EIDL. I did hear that it's 1,000 per employee is what you're supposed to get. I don't know if that's urban legend. I've seen that posted in several areas. So two things. I have a call with the director of the Brewers Guild. So he's supposed to call me sometime here in the next hour. And then I am doing a Zoom call with the SBA, the head of the SBA in Durham from 3 to 4. So if I get some information, I will pass that along.
Yeah, let me know a lender that might be able to help me, because Wells Fargo, I'm definitely moving every cent out of there. So they sent me an email. I think I told you that said like, you're in queue, but you should probably find somebody else to help you, right? But then,
yeah, well, part of the reason is that the feds had capped how much they could lend because of all of the faux pas that they had a few years ago at the false accounts. And they apparently have lifted that cap that they had. So you may want to circle back with them right now, because I know a lot of the banks are saying we're so overwhelmed that we can only work with the people that have relationships. And I think that's that new part of the legislation that they're going to be focusing on today, is what is happening to these people that can't get into the queues. We've got to create outlets for them. So
yeah, because all Wells Fargo did, I was excited when they lifted that cap, and that was good news yesterday, right? So then I woke up this morning and they literally resent the same exact email saying, oh, I know we've raised our cap, but you're in queue and we don't think we'll get to you. You need to find somebody else.
oh my God,
It's the same
that's
exact email.
awful.
So I literally sent an email to all their public relations people and just blasted them. I just said, like, I went nuts on them. But, and again, to me, it's not, I'm not in a position where I necessarily need it. I just think that, we don't know how long this is going to last. And I think it makes sense to apply since it's available. So
Yeah.
if it was a dire need or something like that, it would be a bigger deal. But it's just, it just makes sense to apply since it's there. So,
Well,
Brian, sorry, it might be too much information, but yes, gentlemen.
This is
okay. Being that I know you started talking about on the foreclosures, that that might be a good possibility within the next few months. Is there something that we can start learning about more and actually trying to see how you actually do one? Because it's been years, I know, since I've done one, but also so our clients might be able to take advantage of it, but also to see how to do it, how we would get, and what to look for.
Yeah, so a couple things with that. First, I mean, I don't think that it's going to be an immediate thing. I think that if this thing was to drag out, then certainly there could be some foreclosure issues down the line. But I think in the short term, especially our market looks pretty good, but I do think that there's the possibility out there. But with that said, there's a couple things. One, any foreclosure that's out there, depending who owns it, the rules change. So you can certainly take, like, there's REO classes and things like that that would help you out. But at the end of the day, it really comes down to what does that particular owner of that foreclosure want you to do. And I can tell you that in general, it's on the MLS, it's going to say, here's our process. Either you use the standard contracts or you use ours, right? Or you bid online and you go to this website. So it's almost like telling you within the MLS under the agent notes what you're supposed to be doing. But regardless of what it says to do, whether you're supposed to go online and bid, whether you're supposed to put it in a regular offer, they all typically have a foreclosure addendum that if your client is the one that they like the dollars, they like the offer, then you still have to have your client agree to the foreclosure addendum. So then you get that, and then 99% of the time it's going to change what you put in your offer. So let's just say that your offer was, you offered $200,000 on this house, closing in 30 days with a 15-day due diligence period, right? The foreclosure addendum is going to say, you got to close in that 30 days. Yeah, it's usually that, but you only have 7 days to do inspections, and this is how it works, and this is what you can do and how you do it. So all of a sudden your due diligence period doesn't matter anymore. But because that foreclosure addendum is changing what you are going to be allowed to do per the regular contract, your client first has to sign and agree to that addendum, and then you move forward. And honestly, all those foreclosure addendum, the reason I'm getting this detailed, it's really that foreclosure addendum that you need to know as a buyer's agent. It's once you get to that foreclosure addendum, that's where it really matters that you're looking into those, what they say, to protect your client. And again, if your client likes it and is on board with it, they can buy the house. If they're not, you're not going to be able to negotiate. It's just, you say, hey, look, you don't have 15 days for due diligence. You literally have 7 days to get these inspections done. And if you don't like what you see, they're not going to fix anything, or this is what they will do and won't do. But at that point, you can back out. Or if you don't like this addendum at all, we can just back out now, right? So that's more or less how it works. Other than, like I said, some say go online and fill out your offer. If it's a HUD home, you do it online, and some of the other ones have online auctions and other online companies where you fill out the offer online instead of doing a North Carolina paperwork. But if you do, I'm sorry, go ahead.
So with the due diligence, you're going to lose your money before you
No, because it's subject to that addendum. That addendum, they're saying basically, so what I always tell people to do, and again, I'll send you some different, there's courses and things you can take to learn REOs better. But in a nutshell, I always tell people, if you're really interested in getting this foreclosure, then you need to go ahead and write a really strong offer. You need to come in strong with the price, because there's going to be multiple offers probably. You need to have a very short due diligence period. And the reality of it is, I tell all buyers, whatever we put on this paperwork, it's so that they'll accept your offer, but they're going to change the terms of this offer. Like, let's say you put a 45-day closing. They're going to come back with a foreclosure addendum that says you have 7 days, 10 days to do your inspections, and you have to close in 30 days, right? HUD, if you do a HUD, it says if it's priced under $100,000, we want $500 earnest money. If it's above $1,000, we want $1,500. So they're telling you exactly what they want. So my point is, always look to see if they're already telling you some of the rules they want. If they're not, and they're saying just put in your offer on regular paperwork, then be strong to get them to accept you. But know on the back end, before you owe due diligence, before you lose anything, they're going to probably send you this addendum, and now you have to agree to that. And if you agree to that, you move forward. If you don't agree to it, then you're not losing money. The other thing that I would tell you is that it's always worthwhile to call that listing agent. And if you're saying, hey, I'm about to write an offer and it's saying to use a standard North Carolina contract, you as the listing agent that works with this lender, do you have a copy of the foreclosure addendum that you can send to me already so I know? Or can you tell me, what do they usually do for due diligence period? If they're going to come back to me anyway and tell me that my 15 days is really only 10, I'd rather just put 10 in here now. So just tell me. So call that listing agent and say, you know what they want. Tell me what they want. And as long as your buyer's on board, that's going to help your buyer in the long run anyway. And that's a number one thing you can do, is try to get them to respond. Now, the problem with that, though, is a lot of these people that handle foreclosures are handling a ton of them, and they're some of the most non-responsive agents in the industry. So, but it is worth a shot.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
All right, folks, we're down to 4, and I'm going to go. I'm going to let everybody go.
All right.
So, does anybody have any last parting words?
No.
Nick, that was a cute kid you had there. Must have got his mother's looks.
So we will be talking next Tuesday.
Tuesdays and Thursdays, yep.
Okay. All right.
All right,
Okay. Bye.
thanks.
Good luck, everybody. Reach out if you need anything, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, bye.